Hey, 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 what's up, y'all? Everybody in the world. It is the Ace Michael Show, and I'm Ace Michaels. Happy to be him today. And what's on my mind? Okay, check this out. This is what's on my mind. Why? That's how I'm going to start it. Why do people all jump behind the same thing? Why do people all get activated by the same things all the time? So, what I mean by that is you'll notice a trend like when Game of Thrones is on its final season. Now everybody is a film critic. Now everybody knows what should have happened, what didn't happen. And if the general feeling is disgust about a thing, then everybody's disgusted. Have you noticed that? Like if the general feeling is happiness about a thing, then everybody's happy. The Michael Jackson movie came. Everybody's out seeing the Michael Jackson movie. Everybody loves Michael Jackson, which don't get me wrong, there's no reason not to love Michael Jackson. He's an amazing artist, but he was also a challenged, to be generous with the word, a challenged individual who was fighting some demons throughout his life. I mean, as an abused child, as a megalomaniac, as a control freak, as a person who did not like his own self image. Okay, vitiligo fans, say what the F you want about the A. I get it. You're going to send me the message vitiligo, vitiligo. I get that. But vitiligo had nothing to do with all the plastic surgeries. Okay. Yeah, mic drop. So, what we tend to do is if something is favorable and entertaining for us on both sides of it, good or bad, whether it's the end of the Boys series or Donald Trump madness, Epstein files, whatever the thing is, it seems like people tend to jump in the boat with everybody else. If everybody else is angry, then doggone it, I'm angry too. Well, what are you angry about? Because of the thing? Right. You ain't angry, bro. Put your sign down, go eat a chili dog, and leave the rest of us alone. All right. If you have a thought on it, please, I'd love to hear your ideas, opinions, suggestions, convictions, beliefs on this topic. Why? Why does everybody always jump in the same boat? Why are there no individual people who say, you know what? I disagree. I think blah, blah, blah. Not really too many people do that. Anyway, today on the show, my guest is a beautiful, talented singer and songwriter. She is a nominee for a 2026 Max and Jazz Music Award, people. Right. That part. Please welcome to the show, first timer on the Ace Michael Show. Amelia Rose is with me.
Hello, hello. Thank you for
Amelia,
having me.
welcome to the Ace Michael Show, Dorland.
Appreciate it.
Wow, 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 wow. Look at you growing and doing big things. Mm, mm, mm.
Thank you, thank you. I'm really excited about everything I have going on this year, starting with singing with you in your show. That was a
Nah,
lot of fun.
that was nothing.
Um, that was a lot of fun. But when I got to get on the stage for my own show, that was just magical. I had so much fun. Um, and this is sort of a new launch of Amelia Rose Social Club. Is something that I started back in 2019, and the pandemic sort of ended all that.
Yes.
And so I'm relaunching it, and it feels really exciting. I have a lot of things coming up for that as well.
Yeah, and the entertainers never usually like to tell what the things are, but in this case, I hope you will divulge a little baby bit. What are some of the things? You mentioned you got some things coming out. That got us all excited. What are some of the things?
Sure, sure. Well, actually, so in the next few weeks, I'm going to be doing the Ma'am Jam with the Las Vegas Blues Society again. It'll be, I think, the third year that I've been a part of this show, and it's all female musicians, except we're going to have Jimmy Carpenter playing some horns. And I'm going to be singing some Janis Joplin, Albert King, Angie Fisher. That's May 30th at the Copa Room. And then, of course, June 1st, I'm going to be performing at the Max and Jazz Music Awards. And I decided I'm going to do an original for that, which I've been writing since I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
And my songwriting journey has been kind of crazy. I used to perform with the guitar in this little mountain town I lived at in Colorado. And I loved that. But working as a massage therapist, and long story short, as a gondolier, I had a hand surgery, and I don't really play guitar like I used to. And I picked it up and I said, I'm gonna do an original for this, and I'm gonna start jumping back into originals. So kind of a long story with all of that, but I'm really excited to be doing an original for the music awards.
Yeah, now you unpacked a little bit there. So this original song is one you were doing for all these years, or were you saying you've been writing songs in general for all these?
No, I've been writing songs since I was probably 15. I have more songs than I can count. Um, but I used to perform with the guitar, but my hands just don't let me play like that anymore. I started writing when I lived in LA,
Hmm.
uh, and worked with a producer. That's a whole story in itself. We moved here to Vegas together, and um, the relationship ended up not working because it was more than a professional relationship. And yeah, that's a crazy story. But I also have worked with a couple other people, and I've just had some bad luck, honestly,
So hold
with.
on. Now you can't just drop that in the middle of the conversation. So you and the producer moved out, but you weren't dating when you moved out. You said you guys move
Well,
out.
no, we
Okay, so
were,
you were a
yeah,
couple, and
we were a couple.
you happened to be doing music as a side hustle to the being a couple.
Right. That was sort of like the backbone of what our relationship was, actually.
Right. Now, a lot of people
So.
do this, and I'm always curious. I did it, by the way. My mom, not my mom. Whoa, look out there. That was Freudian.
Right?
Whoa. Um,
Do go on.
no, my kid's mom. My
Okay,
both of my
gotcha.
boys have the same mama, and we started working together. Originally, she came into my office in LA to do a casting job. I used to work for a casting director, so I
Hmm.
casted her on the Ricky Martin "La Vida Loca" video. She's one of the dancers in the video,
Fun.
and that was the first thing that we did together. And then we talked about building a website for my company. And so I hired her to build the website, which involved us sitting down and having coffees and going over what the website was supposed to be. Very different world than, by the way, where nowadays you can just have chat gpt make your website in 3 minutes. Back then you had to actually code, you had to know the seo,
Is
you
that
had to
how
get
you're supposed to make a website?
involved.
Because
Woo!
my mom actually has she took some classes at a college for this, and so she volunteered to make my website for me.
Yes.
And I think she's kind of old school, like using codes and things like that, like every little thing. But she actually got my website up, and it's looking really nice. So I'm really appreciative to her for that. But ChatGPT, that's good to know for the future, I guess.
Well, yeah. Now that's if you want a basic website, So what we were doing, Jen and I, we were trying to make, you know, back again. Man, this is 1990. We met. The matter of fact,
Gotcha.
our first date was the movie The Matrix, right? So this is how long ago we're talking about computer stuff. So the world
Mm-hmm.
in computers was a different place. Now Chat GPT or any one of these AI programs can do basically what you need, because after all, how much do you need a website to do these days, right? It's a
Right.
different
As long as
world.
you have social media and things.
Yeah, back then it was all about, website had better,
Right.
when people click on it, there better be music. When the mouse scrolls across it, we want to see like red, white,
Right.
blue colors.
Remember when MySpace was like your own little personal website with your music and everything?
Of
That was
course I
cool.
do. I'm an old ass grown ass man. Of course I remember MySpace used to be the bomb.
It
Um,
was so much cooler than what came next.
That's true. Well, we did that thing where, you're talking about where we, somehow we had two kids. The website never got built, by the way. It's still to this day, we don't have a website. We do have two wonderful children. And go figure. But so
Beautiful.
my point of that was a lot of people do that. A lot of stories I
Yeah.
hear, people go, yeah, well, we met on music, started working on music, and then we started dating. And sometimes that doesn't work out. And so then the story is, well, that's the reason I didn't finish the songs was because this individual. It's not always a man. Sometimes it goes in the opposite direction. It could be a man involved with a woman, or a woman involved with a man, or vice versa. But
Right.
my
But
question.
kind of why I ended up leaving those songs behind just to be able to kind of move forward.
Yeah, so my question for you as a person who's done that, because I know my rationale was I fell head over heels in love with her, and we had two kids together, and we still to this day, we're very connected with our children and our lives. Was that the way I intended it? Did I say, okay, I'm Jay-Z and you're going to be Beyonce and we're going to make this work? We're going to be a power couple? No, that was never the thought. Was never. I mean, I didn't think about it before I realized that I was just in this relationship.
Right.
You know, it's like McDonald's doing collard greens. You just don't think they can do it until they're doing it, and you go, "Oh, well, these are pretty good," right? And so
They are pretty good.
you live with it, right?
If they're cooked right.
Exactly. So, so what was the challenge with that as in a relationship? And not talking about that individual or anything like too personal, but like what was the challenge there? It would seem like I'll give you my so with me and Jen, the problem was that I was the music producer. So every time we got to talking about music, then I would turn the gear on and I would start getting ready to lay tracks. And then she would be like, "Oh my gosh, it takes so long to connect the sound card. Oh my gosh, is the microphone ready? You know what? Why don't you get it ready and I'll come back and sing my verse when you got it ready?" And so that was always frustrating for me because I was like, it just doesn't work that way. Like music, the music in the DAW digital audio workstation just doesn't work the way you can just grab a guitar and start writing. It doesn't work that way. There's always going to be
Right.
something you're going to have to tweak. And so she was very impatient. So that tweaking part never worked for her. I'm very pragmatic. So the tweaking part of all of these productions that I do, the tweaking part is what I love. That's the part that I get excited about. So that was something that didn't work between the two of us, but obviously we had the kids, so something else worked out just fine.
Right.
So what was y'all's deal?
For us, it wasn't about the music wasn't the problem. In fact, that was the thing that was carrying us. And we, I mean, there were certain things that he betrayed. And honestly, I don't want to talk about him because
Okay.
he actually passed away last year, which
Oh
is
wow.
heartbreaking. We spent like 10 years together. So that's kind of a crazy topic.
Wow.
But as far as that music, some of those songs were mine, and some of them we wrote together, and I might resurrect, a few in the future, but I guess that's just something that I haven't really faced head on yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I worked with another producer out here who sent me some tracks, really nice tracks. I wrote to like four of them. We recorded three of them. We never wrote anything down, and he disappeared and ghosted me. And
Hmm.
um, and I've had a few situations like that where I guess, just not really understanding copyright the way I should, and kind of learning on my own. And I should probably ask, AI more questions about this type of stuff, which I'm working on. But
What
a lot
why
of that has been sort of a detour from music, like I've written so many songs, but then how to get them to the next step is kind of where I've fallen off.
Yeah, and I want to ask you first off, why is songwriting such a hassle? That's for sure. I want to know about that. But then before I get to that, why do you say you're going to ask AI? Like more people nowadays, they're just like, "Oh, I'm going to ask AI about that." And it's like you might as well say, "Oh, I'm going to watch a stand-up comedy special for therapy. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to you know what I'm saying? Like AI is only going to tell you what some other people thought was the answer. Like AI is
I
not,
know, so true.
you know what I'm saying?
AI is terrifying, honestly.
It
Everything
truly is. Okay,
about
so
to have no water or anything.
exactly. Okay, that part we can talk about that. That's
That
gonna be a
part, yeah.
whole nother show, though. That's true.
Ah,
That is the truth. Okay, so why is songwriting such a big deal to where some people it takes them years to do it? Like you would think that it's a process that's literally just, you write a song. You should have wrote 3 songs today already. What are you waiting on, right? Why
And sometimes it does flow like that. Sometimes I've written a song in an afternoon, and sometimes I write part of a song and come back to it months or even years later.
can you imagine if other things worked that way? Like, what if they shot porn that way? They were like, "You know what? Let's come back to this in no pun intended, but let's come back to this in 3, 4 months." You know?
Right, but I
Well,
think the
just
whole point of that is like the finish, right?
yeah, well, let's
Without the finish, what are they doing anyway?
yeah, maybe they're like, "Well, let's just start it. Come up with what you can come up with and just, put it in a notebook and leave it, and we'll get back to it. No big deal." If you feel inspired, we'll get back when you feel inspired, you
Oh,
know?
I have so many notebooks full of songs.
So what are you doing with all the notebooks?
Well, for now they're just kind of hanging out.
Hmm.
I'm filling new notebooks.
So I opened up the show. I mentioned about this Michael Jackson movie, and one of the things that I will say, I saw the Michael Jackson movie, didn't really learn anything because I know a lot about Michael Jackson. I lived the Michael Jackson era. I really, really,
Hmm.
I love Michael Jackson. But one of the things I thought was interesting, if it's true, right? Because there's always that part. If it's true and not colored a certain way, was that he was writing little motivational notes and leaving them everywhere so that he would have the reminder, like, you are great, you are powerful, you are talented, you got this, or whatever the thing was.
Like
And I,
just little affirmations to himself kind of thing, or
yeah,
that he would leave for other people.
no, he left them for himself, as
Yeah,
far as we know, and, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think we could
sure.
all stand to do a little bit more of that, which brings us back to ChatGPT and
Yeah, I
why
think we could
songwriting.
all use to talk to ourselves a bit nicer than we do, most of us.
I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. So, the writing of the songs, so you have this notebook full of songs.
I also got into I got into producing a little bit because I learned a lot,
You
and
got to.
I produced a bunch of songs and wrote to some of them, and then my computer crashed.
Yeah, of course. That happens.
And I can't get these songs off of there. I mean, I have, copies of them,
Mhm.
but I don't have the actual tracks anymore. So, yeah, I guess just like decades of um, you know, diving into songwriting, but feeling like I'm alone doing it, but then trying to collaborate with other people and having bad luck trying to make that happen. And I guess when you write with people, it's almost like dating. Like you have to have that chemistry to be able to create something magical when you're working with musicians, songwriters, creating something.
Oh, see, now I disagree. I disagree with that. I don't think that you have to have any kind of chemistry to write a song with other
Well,
people.
I don't mean like a sexual chemistry. I just mean
No,
like you have to
no,
have.
I didn't mean that either.
Okay.
No, I think that songwriting can be done just like any job, once you set your mind to what the goal is. So Lennon and McCartney didn't really get along most of the time, from stories that I read. John Lennon was a very dark person. He has a very dark history. I'm not going to throw shit on his name, but if you read up on John Lennon, you'll be amazed that this is the same guy who wrote All You Need Is Love. Like, he had some issues, right? Whereas McCartney is a very upbeat person to this day. Upbeat. Michael Jackson goes and steals a song catalog, and he's like, I'm a little bit upset about that, Mike. Right? But he's he's just a very level, balanced, passive kind of guy for the most part. So the two of them were able to sit down and write together without even liking. Sometimes Lennon would say he hated what McCartney added to a song. Like, oh God, Paul just added this BS that I think is just stupid. Yeah, stupid all the way to the bank, though, right, guys? And
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
no, no.
I think that people used to be a little more open minded to just sitting down and writing together and taking your time, and everybody's in such a hurry anymore.
Yes, yes. No, no, I agree with that. I think everything in this generation and whatever's going to happen beyond this generation is all about instant. beyond instant, faster than instant gratification. Like we've
Right.
had a lot of training to know that, like the Chat GPT, like we expect a program to write us a resume. Like, dude, I need a resume. I need it in 2 minutes. Why do you need it in two
Huh.
minutes? Like, are you serious right now? Yeah, because that's where things are at, and it's affecting everything. It's affecting dating. It's affecting the way we go to our jobs. Um, Job interviews. I
Right.
recently had an interview with the company. Then they were doing job interview. Well, I don't know if it was their company or not, but in the same commissary, I was talking to someone about one order of business, and in the same commissary, there was a company that was literally having people come in, do a quick interview, and then I guess they narrowed it down to like the three people they liked or the six people they liked, and then those people were doing the second interview right on the spot, and then they were shaking hands with some people at the end. So I presume they hired out of those 30 people like a few of these people, and this all
Well, whoever
happened.
whoever put on the best show then, right?
Yeah, and this all happened in like under 20 minutes because my meeting wasn't that long. So that's
Yeah.
where we're at now. Now it's about
Yeah.
people want to meet, they don't want to date. They want to know, can we hook up? Can I move in with you? What's your credit score looking like? Because we might need to share a bank account. Like, what's going on? And it's a different world.
It's like the first date.
Right. Before the first date, really. Yeah, it's a whole different world.
Yeah. Well, and everybody's so attached to their phones. Even, in my relationship, we really try to not be on our phones all the time, but it's like it just happens all the time. It's like,
Hmm.
man, we're just sitting here looking at our phones
Right.
together, but not, sometimes. You know what I mean?
Right, right. So, what's the most valuable piece of music information that you want to share with someone who's, because there's people out there that may be wanting to get started. They need to know from a professional singer, like, what do I do from here?
Um, Create the vision and find yourself and allow your voice to explore and allow yourself to explore and meet different people um and find out who you are so that you can be that person as an artist, because
Hmm.
you can't really be an artist if you don't know, you can't really express yourself and who you are with other people if you don't really understand who you are and what you're capable of and what you want.
So, that's a good piece of advice. Now, my question would be to that: why do you think so many people in Vegas do covers then? Like if you are an artist, right? You're a great singer.
Mhm.
You want to get it there and you want to make your name in the industry. Why spend so much time doing other people's music? Cuz I
Well,
mean,
I spent years just doing originals,
mm,
and and that was my focus. And then I met people in Hollywood who said, you need to do covers because these venues aren't going to hire you if you don't do covers. And then,
mm,
moving to Vegas, I ended up kind of hearing the same thing. Like, where do I go to even perform as an artist? Well, you can go play for free at these places, but if you want to make some money, then you need to sing covers. And then I ended up, meeting I ended up meeting some people from Rick James band and singing with them and doing the
mm,
Tina Marie tribute, which was amazing experience. But at the end of the day, it just seems like tribute artists in Vegas are the ones who are sort of succeeding the most, is from what I see looking at other artists that I know.
hmm. But is that real success though? Like, you I always like I don't do covers anymore. Of course I've done some covers, but I said to my musicians, the guys that I work with, I said, do you think we're going to be better than Journey or something? Like, do you think that people are going to come out to see me perform and go, you know what? Damn, James Brown, Ace Michaels is what's up. He does Bruno Mars better than Bruno Mars. No, they're never going to say that. So for all the energy, time invested, money invested, I would rather focus on writing my songs, get out, wow the people with my tune. And, if they're going to dance, they're going to dance. If they're not going to dance, they're not going to dance. But I feel better knowing that I'm doing me, you know.
Yeah, I get
Um,
that. I totally get that because that was my mindset for a long time. And then, but also, to be honest, learning all of these different types of covers, and because I sing everything from, funk and soul and jazz and big Italian opera. It's really taken my voice to the next level. Like I can control my voice better now than I ever could in my entire life. I was always a singer, but you know, learning all those Tina Marie songs and how to really sing from my gut, like
Hmm.
it made it to where I could just sing with more power and control. And being a gondolier and singing Italian opera and learning all these songs and embracing that part of my voice, it just, I feel like now coming back into my songwriting,
Hmm.
it's good that I've done all, you know what I mean, the things we do, the places we go, it makes us the person we are. And I wouldn't be the singer that I am today if I hadn't taken the time to learn all of these covers also, and discover different parts of my voice instead of just playing guitar or something, which I'm not that good of an instrumentalist. I'm decent. I play, it's more of a hobby, but I'm a vocalist. And so as an instrumentalist, I couldn't really keep up with what I wanted to do vocally, if that makes sense. So I'm still kind of at that point, but I feel like vocally I have a better idea of where I want to go.
And and there are no right or wrong answers to this, but I want to challenge that by saying, Tina Marie was a great singer, a great vocalist, and she never learned opera tunes to become a better vocalist. Michael Jackson
That's true.
never learned to go out and do. I mean, there was a short amount of time when he was a young boy, the Jacksons would go out and they would do James Brown songs because those were the songs that were out. And I can understand they didn't have anybody writing songs for them when they were the Jackson 5 in the beginning, right?
Hmm.
So they went out and they played clubs, and of course they played covers. But after a while, you get to the point where you develop as an artist and you want to put yourself out there. What's the legacy you want to leave as an artist?
Um, I want to blend genres together
Hmm.
and create music that is not categorized into a category that may already exist, but bring music together.
Now, why do you want to do that?
Because I love to sing all different genres. I love singing opera as much as I love singing funk and pop and so when Hollywood or agents or people I've met who have tried to tell me that I need to be a tribute artist or stick to one genre, stick to my little box. It just didn't, it never really sat right for me. And I wasn't able to really stay in that box for too long.
And
But I think people want to hear different types of music. You know what I mean? Like most people that I know enjoy different types of music as well. So
I think
why
people
not be able to express all of it?
I think people always have. I think there's never been a time, like even if you went back to the Renaissance, sure there were people who loved some great Renaissance orchestra music or choral music, but they also loved other stuff too. There is no one-minded person. Even if you say, "Well, no, I really only listen to country." Do you though? Do you really though? Only? Because nowadays country music is infused with so many other types of music. You're not really even listening to country only anymore. Even if
That's
you
true.
say you love country, you know what I mean?
I
Um,
do know some people who kind of listen to the same music that they listened to in high school,
mm.
and that's kind of all they listen to. So in a way, I want to challenge people to get out of that bubble and not be so judgmental of new music just because you don't know it, or be judgmental of opera because you don't understand it.
What do you think is the worst thing about the music industry now?
I just think that it's very superficial in a lot of ways, that they want copycats of, like they're just scared to try something different.
Hmm.
A lot of copycats. I mean, I lived in LA for a few years, and that was sort of what I got the most of. And AI is a little terrifying. I saw an ad the other day, and she says, "Record your voice into this app, and I can make your voice sing anything you want." And I was like, "Bitch, no."
why does that terrify people so much, do you think? Why
that
is
they
that
that they can
scary?
literally that they can literally take people's voices and create music, take people's likeness and just steal their whole identity. I don't know. It's pretty messed up. No.
It's not really new though. Like when you think about it, I
Mm,
mean, you've had Photoshop for 30 years, you know?
sure, but I
You
think that's different than my voice.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that people have taken such a personal response to it. Like, you can take my image and put somebody else's face on it. I disagree. Yeah, but you've been able to do that for almost 100 years. Like, you could always take somebody's image and manipulate it.
That's
You
true,
know what I
but
mean?
they're getting a lot better with like expression and things like that and
Yeah,
making it
yeah.
look real, where a lot of people can't even tell the difference.
Well, just to play the devil's advocate, think about how many doors that opens for you as a writer. Like you've said multiple times in this interview, like you're not a great guitar player, right? Well, now you got AI. You don't need to be. Now you can literally say, these are the chords I want. You put in plink, 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 and AI comes out with bling, 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 bling,
Yeah,
bling,
whatever
right?
program that is, I have no idea, but
Yeah,
that
that's
sounds
really
cool.
amazing. Yeah, you can do that with Suno, by the way. I'm going to send you the link. Suno is one
Okay.
of our sponsors, actually, of our show. So,
Oh, nice.
so
Very
yeah,
nice.
you want to check out Suno because you can take those demo ideas, and they're still demos. Like they're not going to be the finished Quincy Jones level recording master, right? That's not going to happen. But you can make some pretty fair demos in a short amount of time and get your demos done. Take those to musicians. As you know, I work with musicians. And my thing was always, my workflow was always this: I would come up with an idea, decide it's going to be in a show, put the musicians together. We've got to do one, two, three, maybe four freaking rehearsals, which are all costing me money. And I always feed the musicians too. So now I'm paying for food for grown men to come out and kind of learn the song, and they never really learn it, right? So the last
Mm.
couple of shows I've done, I didn't do that. I went into Suno and I put the entire show together with AI. Exactly the parts I wanted. This is what I want the bass to play exactly. This is where I want the drums to break exactly. I gave the musicians that a week before the show. We did the show. We did one rehearsal. And they already had the parts. I could give them
Oh.
even the charts if I wanted to. I could print the charts. I could print and transpose it. I could do anything I wanted and just give it to them.
And all that is on this app.
Yeah. So
Cool.
that was, for me, that was the change that I needed because as a producer, time is money and money is time. I don't have time to be sitting with a bass player and going, okay, man, this is kind of what I want. Could we try it again the way I want it? You know, and with
Mhm.
the AI, you don't have to do that. AI, you literally say, this is exactly how I want it. And it's not always going to be perfect, but the time wasted with musicians, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So yeah, I'm going to send you that link. You should definitely check it out. And I'd love to
Awesome.
hear
Yeah, I
what
totally
you
will.
think, And so then,
Absolutely.
if we want to pleasantly stalk you, we want to hear some of these great songs of yours, and we want to see this show that you called the Mama Jam, or what did you call it? The Mam Jam?
It's with the Las Vegas Blues Society. It's called the Mam Jam, so it's all female musicians. That's
Right.
May 30th. And then I'm actually in the process of booking a couple more shows. So everything is going to be on my website.
Nice.
My
And some of these ma'ams, I guess you don't have to be a ma'am to do the jam. You got to be a lady, but you don't have to be a ma'am necessarily, right?
Oh, sure, you betcha.
Okay, great.
That was
Uh,
the North Dakota coming out.
Right. And so we're gonna check that out. And then how do we find you on the social media? If we want to start stalking you, we want to pleasantly be a part of your world, what do we need to do? Sleep in the bushes, all that stuff.
Yeah, don't sleep in my bushes, as my dogs will hear you, and
Uh it could
and
get
we won't hear the end of it.
it'll get ugly quick, it sounds like.
Right. So everything is on my website, ameliarosesocialclub.com
Amelia
and
Rose, socialclub.com.
socialclub.com. And everything's on there from shows coming up. And at the bottom, it's got all my social media links. There's some music on there. There's
Nice.
my bio, different things. Check it out if you like. I appreciate it. and looking forward to what's coming up.
And that is what's up. And the main thing is check you out live because we didn't even mention about the hula hoop, but I'm just going to leave that there.
Oh yeah,
No spoiler. I'm not going to say what happens. No spoiler,
right.
but there's a lot more than just singing going on when you go see her. Leave it at that.
That's that's true. Flow is a beautiful thing.
It
So
truly is. And it's been the Ace Michael Show. I'm Ace Michaels today. My guest, Amelia Rose. Amelia, thank you for doing the show. And
thank you so much for having me.
for the rest of you kids, you know what I say at the end of the show. I've been saying it for so many years now. Live the life you love and love the life you live. Thank you.
Ciao.